So this is Meet Samantha. I love these books because they give you an inside look of what it was like to live in a different time period in a way that is fun and entertaining. Like, I love the characters that develop in these stories. Yes, Drew?
Who's the author?
Ooh, that's a great question. It never really says who the, oh, yes it does. By Susan S. Adler. And the illustrations are by Nancy Niles. Usually it says it on the front cover, but it doesn't say it. So good eye, Drew. Good job. Okay, we are going to do bathroom and drink breaks, but I'm doing it table by table. I'm going to try and remember to stop. Table 1, you may go. Okay, Meet Samantha. Okay, chapter 1, Jessie. Samantha! The voice broke through the summer afternoon like a crack. The leaves of the quiet old oak tree suddenly rustled and dropped, a squirming bundle of arms and legs. Samantha Parkington tumbled out of the tree. Samantha, you're really dumb, the voice continued. It was coming from a hole in the hedge that separated Samantha's house from Eddie Ryland's. You're so dumb, you don't even know how to climb a tree. Samantha glanced at her scraped and bleeding knee and looked pained. Not because of the knee, but because the voice was at it again. She glared at its owner with a look that could have frozen water in July. Go away, Eddie. You guys, that should be enough. You guys are good. Okay? There wasn't that much of a spill. Yep. Okay. I'm going to read that last sentence again. Samantha glanced at her scraped and bleeding knee and looked pained. Not because of the knee, but because the voice was at it again. She glared at its owner with a look that could have frozen water in July. Go away, Eddie. But Eddie's round, sticky face didn't go away. You're so dumb, you probably think 3 times 4 is 12, he said. Eddie, Samantha looked disgusted. 3 times 4 is 12. Well, anyway, you're so dumb. That was enough for Samantha. Eddie, she said, if you don't get out of here right now, I will take your entire beetle collection from behind the shed and I'll put it in the offering plate at church on Sunday. She paused to be sure he was listening. And I'll tell your mother you did it. Eddie's eyes grew wide. He pulled his mouth into a frog face and left to find a safer hiding place for his beetle collection. Samantha examined her knee. The bleeding had stopped, but her stocking was badly torn. She could picture how Grandmary would look when she saw it. Grandmary's eyes had a soft, warm light when they looked at Samantha, but her face could be very stern when she talked about growing up. Discipline, Grandmary always said, is what turns girls into ladies. Samantha tugged at the hole in her stocking, but she couldn't hide it. The taffeta bow had held her dark brown hair drooped over her forehead. Yes, this was a job for Jessie. Samantha hurried up the walk and climbed the porch steps 2 at a time. At the front door, she slowed down. If there was any noise at the front door, Elsa might come. Elsa was the new maid. She was always grumpy, and Samantha didn't want to listen to a lecture now. Luckily, the door was quiet. No one saw Samantha run all the way to the 3rd floor. There, at the end of the hall, was the sewing room, and in the corner sat Jessie. Are you two done? Okay, there's no talking during read aloud. Okay, we're not talking to one another. Okay, So now I'm going to have you scoot back to your desk. Okay. All right. Are we ready to continue now? Okay. Keep in mind the rules, guys. There's no talking during read aloud. All right. We have to have our listening ears on. Luckily, the door was quiet. No one saw Samantha run all the way to the 3rd floor. There, at the end of the hall, was the sewing room, and in the corner sat Jessie. Yards and yards of soft lilac material tumbled around her, and the sewing machine clicked quietly as her feet pressed the treadle back and forth. She hummed to its rhythm as her fine brown hands guided the cloth past the flashing needle. Jessie made clothes for the household. She was working on a new dress for Grandmary, but she stopped as Samantha came through the door. "Oh, Miss Samantha, just look at you," Jessie said. As she stood and turned, Jessie's large floating apron swirled over the baskets of thread and laces that rested on the floor. "What have you been up to?" "No, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Here you are, 9 years old, almost a lady, and still getting into mischief like a ragamuffin. What will your Grandmary say?" Samantha folded her hands and looked at the floor until Jessie was quiet. The mild scolding was a small price to pay for the help she knew Jessie would give her. Does anybody know what ragamuffin means? Let's think of how the word ragamuffin and how it was used. Yes, Caroline?
My mom calls me this all the time. It means you're a mess.
You're a mess. Yep, you are really messy. You are a mess. That is a great job. Your mom calls you that? That's funny. My mom used to call me that too. So I feel you on that one. Yep. Well, I used to always play outside, and when I would come in, I was dirty from head to toe.
You should have seen me.
Leaves in your hair. Yep. Okay, we're going to move on. Already, Jessie had brushed the grass and dust from her hair. Now she checked Samantha's dress for tears and stains. She spotted the torn stocking. "Take off those shoes and stockings right now." "Does your knee hurt?" asked Jessie. "No, Jessie, it's all right. I'd just rather not have to explain to Grandmary," said Samantha. Jessie smiled and reached for her sewing basket. Samantha found a small clean rag and wet it from the water pitcher. She sponged her injured knee while Jessie sat down to repair the damaged stocking. As Samantha looked around the room, she noticed a piece of jelly biscuit on the floor. She must have dropped it the day before. 3 ants had found it. She was about to tell Jessie when she knows 2 more ants are on their way. It would be fun to see how many would come. Samantha sighed loudly. "It must be awfully boring to be a grown-up," she said. Jessie laughed softly. "Well, that depends. It depends a lot on the person. Now you, Miss Samantha, I don't think you have to worry about being bored, even when you're a grown-up." There were 7 ants on the jelly biscuit now. "I'll bet Cornelia isn't bored," said Samantha. Jessie laughed again. "No, I don't imagine Miss Cornelia is very often bored," she said. Cornelia was a friend of Samantha's favorite uncle. She was pretty and dark-haired, and she laughed easily. Anyone could see that she liked Uncle Guard a lot. But Samantha didn't think Cornelia was right for Uncle Guard. She thought someone like Alice Roosevelt, the president's daughter, would be better. Alice Roosevelt did the most exciting things, and the newspapers were always talking about her. "Is Uncle Guard going to marry Cornelia?" asked Samantha. "That's none of your business," Jessie said firmly, "and children shouldn't ask such questions." Samantha grumbled softly. A minute ago, I was almost a lady. Now I'm a child again." 12 ants were on the biscuit, and 3 were on the way. "Uncle Guard is a spy, you know," Samantha said. "Miss Samantha, Jesse's head shot up in surprise. Where do you get such foolish ideas? Well, he should be a spy, Samantha went on. He's so handsome and brave, everyone would just fall in love with him. He could get their secrets and they'd be so in love with him they wouldn't even care. I think you'd better keep such ideas to yourself, Jessie said as she looked closely at the hole she was mending. You made quite enough trouble for one day. There were 19 ants on the jelly biscuit. Jessie, did you know my mother and father? Samantha asked. Jessie spoke gently. You know I didn't, child. That accident in the boat happened when you were just 5. You know I didn't come to work for your grandmother till you were 7. Samantha had known that. Asking had really been wishing. She touched the locket pinned to her dress. Inside the small gold heart was a picture of her mother and father. She would have loved to hear Jessie talk about them. When Jessie told stories, she made everything sound like magic. Jessie would have made Samantha's parents seem like a prince and princess. Tell me about New Orleans, Jessie, please. Jessie picked up a piece of silk for the sleeve of Grandmary's new dress. Her musical voice began to tell about a place where flowers bloomed in winter. A place where there were huge white mansions and balconies made of iron that looked like lace. She told about spicy shrimp and about music and dancing in the streets. And the best part was, everything Jessie said was true. She didn't have to make up stories about faraway places. Her husband, Lincoln, was a porter on the train that ran to New Orleans. Lincoln brought home wonderful tales of the places he had seen and the people he had met. And he never forgot Samantha. She had a scrapbook almost full of colorful postcards that he sent her from all of his trips. Sometimes he brought her pralines from New Orleans, brown, sugary candy, crowded with sweet pecans. Jessie and Lincoln made Samantha's worldwide and wonderful. An hour passed easily with Jessie's soft voice carrying Samantha to dreamlike places. Okay, we'll read chapter 2 tomorrow, which is A New Girl. So let's talk a little bit about what we learned. We have our main character. Who's our main character? Archer? Samantha. So I'm going to do something, and this is just me modeling. You do not have to get out your writing notebook, okay, for this one, okay? And I'm going to write Samantha. This is a character web. What I'm drawing is a character web and something that we will do throughout this book, okay? So I decided I'm going to start with Samantha. I want 2 character traits. What are 2 character traits we already know about Samantha? Kinley.
She's kind.
She's kind. How do we know she's kind?
Because she doesn't treat people rudely, and she doesn't say mean things to people when other people are sad.
Okay, but there wasn't exactly a lot of evidence, and actually there was a part in that story where she wasn't exactly nice. So I couldn't really say she's kind. Do I personally think Samantha is a kind person? Absolutely I do. But there isn't enough evidence inside what we already have to support that. We have to know a little bit more. Yes, Caroline. Playful. I absolutely agree. Can you give me some evidence where she was playful?
She fell out of the tree.
So she was climbing the tree and she fell. So I'm just going to put, she climbs trees. Okay. What's one more character trait? Archer?
I forgot.
You forgot? Okay. Anybody else? Noah?
Funny.
Funny. Where in the story did you find her to be funny? Can you give me an example where she was being funny?
When Samantha said that her uncle was a spy.
Yeah, she's kind of, I wouldn't say that part was funny. I mean, I kind of giggled a little bit with it. There's kind of another part, though, that I was thinking of when she was being funny. Does anybody have either a different character trait or want to add on or find me an example of funny? Nyana, you have a different character trait? Okay, so I'm going to erase this one so we have a little bit more evidence.
Either sensitive.
What?
Either sensitive or
Sensitive or thoughtful? Okay, how is she sensitive? Give me an example. What? Well, talks a lot and sensitive are two different things. Yes, Patrick. Table 2, if you guys have to go to the bathroom, go ahead. Does anybody have anything else? I have a really good one. Ooh, let's see. Caroline? There's a cricket. Okay. Just leave it alone. It's okay. Nope. We're going to leave it alone. It's fine.
No, it's a baby.
Guys, it's okay.
It's a cute cricket. What?
All right, we are going to come together in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you guys. I know that was very exciting that there's a cricket in the room, but we're just going to ignore it and we're going to move on. And we're going to be done talking about the cricket, okay? Awesome. So does anybody have a different character trait? Kinley?
Sometimes shy.
Sometimes shy? How was she shy? Remember, we have to have evidence. Do you want to phone a friend? All right, phone a friend.
Archer. She was rude.
Ooh, I like that. And I think you can give me a good example of how she was rude.
Because she said to Eddie.
Yes, what she said to Eddie.
I'll steal your beetle collection and put it in the church.
Yeah. Remember, we have talked about this before. Like, there's a right way to handle situations and a wrong way. Who thinks Samantha handled that the right way? How many of you thought she handled that the wrong way? Was it a tiny bit funny? Yes. But is it something we should actually say and do?
No.
No. And to be honest, it was kind of rude. But so was he. He was also very rude. So they were kind of playing off of each other a little bit. But I like that. So I'm going to put fighting with Eddie. Yeah? Yeah, you just go straight to the trash can, buddy. Okay? Alright, do you feel like you are, though?
Little.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and go to the trash can in the back, right back there, okay? And then I'll be with you in just a minute. Give me a second, guys. Will you do me a favor, Kennedy? Will you go get my friend some water? Okay. Let me grab a cup. You go get my friend water, but give it to me and I'll go back and give it to him, okay? All right. So, we know a little bit about Samantha's personality already, but we're going to learn so much more. Hands down. We're going to learn so much more about Samantha because this is just the first chapter. learned at that time, Mr. Roosevelt was the president. Was he a real person? Yes. Yeah. That was an actual president. And he had a daughter. So even though she's mentioning people that are real, this is still considered fiction because Samantha herself is not real. Let me know if you need anything, buddy. All right. Well, thank you guys. You guys did a great job sitting and listening, and I'm excited to share this book with you. I hope you guys are excited to learn more about Samantha. I know some girls have probably already read this book, so if you already know everything that's going to happen, remember, we gotta keep it quiet, okay? All right. Awesome. We are going to get ready for math.